guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching the video today. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is opening a set of Permaseal headlights. Permaseal is one of those sealants that they've been using for a while now, and a lot of manufacturers have started adopting it. Back in the day, they used to use butyl, which is a softer, more palatable glue that you have to bake to put together and take apart. But these days, a lot of these manufacturers are going away from that method. Even the traditional Japanese manufacturers that you see that have always used the butyl sealant, they've gone the way of Permaseal now. Permaseal is more like it's not a silicone, but it's like a glue. It's a hard glue that basically in the manufacturing process that they can lay it down, and it's lay it down as a liquid, and when it dries hard. So it's basically a permanent seal that they use. And I guess in the manufacturing process they do that so they don't have to use an oven to bake them together. They could just attach a lens and a housing together without worrying about baking it or using it in an oven and all that. For the headlight retrofitters like us and the headlight modifiers, it creates a big pain in the ass to try to open up. I've read horror stories of people, spending hours and hours cutting their fingers, trying to get these things open. And even when you get them open, that you do a lot of damage to the lens and the housing, just trying to pry it apart. And then worst case, you're going to crack your lens. So Permaseal, you always have to be patient with Permaseal. So that's the one important thing, about opening any headlight, being patient. You can't, and then having the right tools too, Back in the day when I started headlight modifying, probably like 20 years ago in the Honda days, Hondas all use butyl, so it was very easy to take apart. Back then we would, we'd be sitting on the floor with a blow dryer and a bunch of screwdrivers trying to pry those headlights open. And that was before we knew that, butyl was, something that you could just throw in the oven and bake. I think we figured that out a couple years after, we started opening them up the way we did, where we messed up everything when we were trying to pry them open. But, once we figured out the baking method, life was so much easier. You pop it in the oven set the oven for 270 degrees, bake it for about 6 to 7 minutes, pull it out, stick a screwdriver in the corner that no one can see, and it pries right apart. With Permaseal, you have to heat it in the oven also to kind of get it workable, but you gotta, you have to do it right, and it involves probably 3, 4, 5, sometimes 5 times in the oven just to get it, get enough heat in the headlight and in that channel so you can pry it open, and you have to have the right tools to do it. So today, I'm going to go over all the tools I'm going to use. I'm going to kind of go over kind of step by step. I'm going to try to film everything, but fast forward it all. So, if you want to fast forward, I'm actually going to post up here kind of a timeline if you want to skip past some of the spots and see the actual work being done. And, if you like this video and you like these type of DIY videos and modification videos, don't forget to subscribe right here and like the video. And, appreciate you guys watching the video today, and, stay tuned. The headlight we're going to open today is the popular VLAND China headlight. This is an LED headlight. It's got a triple beam LED with an LED DRL with a sequential turn signal. This is very popular right now with the 2IS, which is a 2006 to 2013 Lexus IS250, 350, and ISF, up to 14 if it's an ISF. So this thing, I had ordered it on a pretty good deal. I just want to do a review and actually open them up and see what was inside. So I got these, and I was hoping that they were butyl, and I thought I hit the jackpot because all these headlights usually, the OEM and even the aftermarket OE copies all use butyl, but I got these, and the first thing I looked at was the edge here, and I was like, oh man, this is right when I saw that glue and it wasn't a malleable glue, I knew it was a bad sign that these were Permaseal. So yeah, I mean, I saw them, I was like, oh man, I'm kind of discouraged now. But then, you know, I already had the plan to open them up and do a video and review on them. So you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do it and take the chance on these. The one thing you'll notice on these when you see them is China cost cutting. Usually the OEM lenses have screws back here that hold the lens on. They use staples in China. So you got 3 staples that hold the lens. There's one back here in the corner. You got to pry those out with a screwdriver and a plier just to get them out. After that, you know, you got to bake these in the oven. As you can see, this part below here is under the bumper, so there's a lot of space to work with on here as far as trying to pry. So that's areas you could pry with you know, and you could kind of damage and scratch up the lenses, and it won't be a big deal. Right here is a bad area. This is a no tool zone because you don't want to risk breaking this, and it's a pretty thin piece of you know, polycarbonate lens here, so you don't want to mess with that too much. So this side is kind of gonna require some patience to get in there. Other than that, the rest of the channel is pretty you know, like usually around these clips is pretty easy. You got a few curves that are going to be hard on this just because you know, the curves and the deep pockets, that's where glue and stuff can get in. You know, they get more glue in there, and it gets it's going to get trickier to get in there. But other than that, as long as you have the right tools and the patience to open it, it should you know, pop out pretty easily. You know, getting the lens off is about half the work. The rest of it is going to be cleaning all that butyl off the lens and the channel, so or not the butyl, but the Permaseal out of those channels, so you can put butyl back in and reseal it back up correctly, and then that way in the future you can open them up again. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the tools, and then we'll start you know, the baking and prying process. So one of the things is having the right tools. So for this effort, I ended up picking up these $55 pry tools for that are designed to pry Permaseal. So these are basically just China screwdrivers that they basically someone hammered and bent into shape. So you got your left hand and right hand direction. So you could, you know, depending on if you're at top, bottom of the lens and which direction you're pulling. And then they came with also a screwdriver that they kind of bent the tip a little to help you pry open to get these tools into that lip. The one thing I noticed is some of these lips, they're pretty, the angle is pretty sharp. Depending on how your lens is and the lip on the lens, you might have to bend that out a little, just so, because what's going to happen is, because this edge is kind of sharp here, so it's going to start digging into the lens or anything else that it's rubbing it against. But you really just want this tip and then just this edge that wraps the channel and the lens to pull through and do any kind of work. The rest of this, you know, if it touches the outside of the lens, you don't want that. But this, I'll have a link down in the description to these. I got these on eBay. They were like $55 from a US seller. You could also get them from China. I think you save $5 or $6 getting them from China, but you got to wait like 3 or 4 weeks on that. Then other than that, you know, just having a heat gun and, you know, probably another screwdriver. Once you get the lens off, they actually have tools to help clean out the channel better. And those tools, they're very sharp tools. They're specialty, and they're dangerous if you're a novice. So I don't really recommend it. I don't have them, but you know, it depends on, you know, how much work you do with those. But those tools are like $70 or $80. I'll have a link to those too if you just want to see what those tools are. But that they do have them out there, and it will make the removal of the Permaseal from the channel much easier if you're willing to invest $70 or $80 for those tools. But you just got to be real careful you don't cut yourself with them. Without you know, wasting more time, we'll go start trying to pry these babies open. about, what was it, 5 bakes to get open. You know, once I got it started, the bottom got started pretty easily, and then I got to this corner. That corner gave me some trouble, and then this top end was very tight against the lens. So that was a little, I deformed this, but once I heat this up, this channel should go back to normal. Pretty good right there. I left a lot of the Permaseal in the channel, which is gonna be a pain in the ass to pull out. You wanna heat this up when it's in here and try to pull it off all in one piece, because when it starts breaking up, that's when it gets trouble. And then up here, there's a big old glob that was holding the last bit of it. So I'm gonna try to heat that up with the heat gun and get all that out. But you know, overall, this is a pain. I don't want to deal with Permaseal ever again, but too bad. All the new headlights are all Permaseal. So same on the lens side. You know, you want it to be left on the lens a little, so that way it peels off a little bit easier from the polycarbonate lens in the channel. Well, not the channel, but the groove that keeps it in when you peel that off. So I'm gonna spend another couple hours trying to peel this crap all out of the channel. I'm done cleaning out most of the channel. This is all the stinking Permaseal that I peeled off. Stuff, this one piece that came off all in one piece was the easiest one. All these little bits that keep breaking up are a big pain. So I still have a few pieces and sections of Permaseal that I gotta get out of here. So on the channel, right about there. Most of it came off at the bottom pretty cleanly. Same with the lens. I got most of it off. Still got a couple pieces here. I'm gonna have to take apart the shroud and everything in there, the DRL section off the lens to access some of these areas to pull off. But I'm gonna have to use a heat gun and try to soften it up and get it off. man, that was painstaking on this thing. But I got all the freaking Permaseal out of the channels. This side is a little bit tore up because you know, initially when I was trying to get in there, it kind of scuffed up everything. But you know, the sides that pulled off nice and easy were good. This side's kind of scuffed up too, but you know, it doesn't really matter once I put the Binh-Tuner in, as long as I get it to seat right into there perfectly and fill all the gaps. You know, when it heats up and expands, it'll be perfectly fine. All these edges now, I gotta heat them up and kind of clamp them, get them back to the normal shape. So later on when I put it back together, it's fine. The lens side turned out pretty good too, got most of it out. There's still some straggler bits left here. I might just heat it up later. And I should take an old piece of Binh-Tuner that's sticky and just get these little residual pieces off. And it should be pretty good. Overall, very happy with the, you know, that I didn't destroy anything doing this, taking it apart, but you know, that's good. So, you know, freaking Permaseal, this stuff is garbage. So that concludes our Permaseal opening removal video. If you guys like this video, please be sure to subscribe down at the bottom and like the video. Leave any comments, any questions you may have. You know, this is it was just a lot of work. You know, you gotta be dedicated to do this Permaseal headlight stuff. I'm not gonna do the reassembly video on this. I'll let most of you, you could check out some of my other videos towards the end here or down in the links. I've got some other videos of me doing, you know, putting this back together, reviewing this. But this video was really just for opening it and the pain in the ass part of trying to open Permaseal and get everything good. But overall, you know, it looks like, you know, once I get it all sealed back together, most of these edges I could clamp, heat up, and get these edges, you know, that are bulging kind of flat once I get the Binh-Tuner glue in there. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.